This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 205. I am coming to you from Montreal, Canada. I had a plan to record a series on my dating chronicles, but life got in the way. I got a bit of a snowstorm on Sunday, and so I had to spend a lot of time shoveling and all that kind of good shit. And then I had to pack for this trip and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to shift my plan a little, but I'm still going to give you an episode. And of course, as always, these solo ones start with the newest locations. So first up is Alpine, California. You listened to episode 204, which was the last one. After that, we got Lake St. Louis, Missouri. You listened to episode 203, which was the 5th anniversary special. Shout out to Mirnez and Joe for hanging with me on that day. Next up, Stony Brook, New York. You listened to episode 199. And last, certainly not least, San Jacinto, California. You listened to episode 2, which was recorded a long fucking time ago. So hopefully, those of you that are new listeners, you got something out of those episodes. Um, I wanted to, like I said, my original plan was to focus on my dating, because it's been such a fucking shit show. I thought, well, perhaps I can get some content out of it. And that was my plan, still is my plan, but um, I shifted a little bit for some of the reasons I mentioned, and also because there was a question that came up, or someone posted in the sorry, not the Discord, the Facebook group, um, and they were pretty distraught about what their ex currently thinks of them, and that led to a lot of discussion and a sort of counter post that disagreed with my view, and that's completely fine. I think they might have deleted their post, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't really look. Be that as it may, I wanted to cover this topic because I think it is an important one that we struggle with, one that on the surface is pretty difficult. And by the way, like I said, I'm joining you from Montreal. I'm in my hotel room. So if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously I'm not in studio, and that means that the video isn't as good a quality, and hopefully the audio is. I do pay extra for their mastering, and so hopefully the audio turns out okay. I will definitely check it before I post this, but um, fingers crossed. So someone, like I said, posted this. He's was really concerned with how his ex now sees him as this villain, as you know, the the problem, the reason that it all ended, and when you're in the beginning, of course, that is counter to what certainly when you put the ring on the finger and said your vows and all that, like they love you. They look at you as the answer to your problem, and suddenly it feels suddenly anyhow, you become the problem. And I totally understand that. And it's difficult because it's such a night and day change. But what you have to eventually, and it takes all of this stuff is hard, obviously, as I've said many times, and it takes some work. But what you have to get to a point is to realize that a couple of things. They have a certain narrative, and that narrative is you're bad. And there is nothing you're going to do to change that. And why do they hold on to this narrative so badly? And I've thought a lot about this in terms of the why and trying to understand it myself. And you know how much it hurts us when they decide that they're leaving because, as I said a few episodes or many episodes ago, it's because we have this as humans, we have this need to be in a tribe, right? Most of us. Obviously, there are outliers and people who, march to the beat of their own drum and all that kind of shit, right? But for the majority of us, we have this need to be part of a tribe. That's ingrained in us because a long, long, long time ago, if we weren't part of a tribe, we were probably going to die, right? We depended on other people for protection, for shelter, food, obviously socialization, all that kind of stuff. And so if we were excommunicated, so to speak, we were probably going to die. It was going to be very hard to do it on our own. So that's why it's very difficult for us and hurts us so much. But then you take the flip side of that. Well, then how can someone destroy their own tribe? Like how can someone decide that they don't want their tribe anymore? And I don't know the whys exactly, but I understand. But once they decide that, then they have to have a narrative, a story that is so ironclad that it gives them the permission to do something that is catastrophic. And in that story, you are the problem, you are the fucking devil or whatever it is. It's the motivation they need to blow every goddamn thing up. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to change that narrative. And so when this person talked about, I can't, I really wish she didn't think of me so negatively and all these things. One of my favorite quotes is what, and I'm gonna probably butcher it as I do always, but what other people think of you is none of your business. And I just think that that is 100% true. Now let's really kind of look at that in a nuanced kind of way because if you're a narcissistic, I don't give a fuck about anyone and I'll fuck over anyone and that kind of, if you're that kind of person, then you're just a shitty person. That's not, that quote doesn't address those people. That quote doesn't give you permission to be an asshole. What that quote does is it gives you permission to not care about people who don't care about you. Your ex-wife doesn't give two shits about you. I mean, maybe if you died, she'd fucking shed some tears, but she has decided that she needs to blow up her tribe. And therefore, because of that, you are never going to get in her good graces no matter what you do. Now, maybe there's some kind of fucking miraculous story out there where people come back together. I'm sure that exists, and I don't mean to shit on it if that is something you've experienced or you've heard of or what the fuck ever. But in general, if someone decides that blowing up their tribe is better than being in their tribe, then it's going to be very rare for them to decide otherwise. Because the otherwise is they were completely fucking wrong and they made a mistake. And that's doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to convince them of that. At least I've never seen it. Again, sure it exists, one-offs and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when they decide to make this decision, they are all in. This is not a light decision. And this doesn't mean that they're right, doesn't mean that you are the devil. It just means that that's what they have decided. And so at that point, what they think of you doesn't fucking matter. Now, I understand it takes a while to get to that. You want to fight for it initially, you want to try and understand it, and you can't. It's just good fucking luck. But there's nothing you're going to be able to do to make them see you any differently. Because if they see you differently, then again, then it means that they made a mistake. And all of this shit and lawyers and separations and sharing custody of kids and all that was all wrong. That's a pretty fucking drastic thing to be wrong about. And so they're not going to find or look for reasons for them to be wrong. Now let's talk about things like custody, legal shit, and all that kind of stuff. It would be great if they didn't see you as the enemy. And with that quote, it's not saying be a dick. It's not saying I don't care what they think, so I'm going to be an asshole. That's not it at all. But your energy shouldn't be spent trying to convince someone of something that they're not going to believe anyway. And so you can be nice and you can do all the things that legally are ideal, going to your hearings and mediation and picking up the kids when it's your time and your turn and being on time and bringing them back on time or whatever the scenario is. All that stuff is good, fine, and dandy and necessary and smart, but it is not going to get her to change her mind. So you don't do those things for her or to try and change her mind. You do them because of the right fucking thing to do. You do them because it's going to get you access to your children. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's a fact. If you're flaky, if you don't show up for things, if you ignore things, then you might not see your children. And I'm not here to say whether or not that's right or wrong or whatever. I'm just saying factually, doing those things right will generally lead to you seeing your children. So that quote about what people think of you is none of your business is not permission to be an asshole. It's not permission to not care about how you treat people. It's not a green flag for you to care only about yourself. It's to remind you that the people that don't care about you don't deserve your energy and your time because no matter what you do, they are not going to see you any differently. So it's not about not giving a fuck. I mean, in some ways it is. It's not giving a fuck about people's opinion of you who don't matter to you, but you still have to be, ideally, you will be a good person and you won't need that motivation. And that's the other sort of part about this is if you're a people pleaser and your behavior is dictated or driven by the need to please people, by the need to make sure that their opinion of you is good, then you're in the passenger seat of your own life, so to speak. You're not doing things for you. You're doing things to please others. You're doing things to make sure that their opinion of you is a good one. And that's not all bad. Being a good person, to be seen as a good person, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Doing things to your detriment, however, to convince someone that you are a good person is to your detriment. So when we're trying to move on from all of this shit, we have to consider us first and foremost. Children, obviously, but in terms of who am I trying to please now, it's yourself. What is it about life that I enjoy? What is it about life that makes me happy? What are the things that I do that confirms that I'm a good person? Not to convince anyone else, but to convince yourself or reaffirm to yourself that, yes, I am a good person. I think if that is your focus, and it takes time and you have to shift, and when you think about, I'm going to do this because of pleasing her, if you could shift that and think about, well, what do I want to do? Then I think you get onto a path of self-sustainability where you're doing things for yourself. Again, obviously considering your children and all that kind of stuff. Children and exes are obviously completely different fucking things. But if you put that focus on you to figure out what is it that you actually enjoy? What is it that you do that makes you feel like you're a good person? That's what matters. What you think about you is more important than what someone who doesn't care about you, love you, or want to be with you anymore. That person's opinion Doesn't matter anymore. It'll take time to get there, but that's where you have to get to in order to move forward. At least that's my view. That's all I got for this one. Shout out to Joe again, because he says he likes the solos because he can listen to them on his car ride to work. So, Joe, this one is a quick one for you, my friend. I hope you all are well. And if you're not, reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Join our Discord server. It's $5 a month. There are many tools and information, a lot of information in there. We meet a few times every week, and it's the best place on this planet to help you heal from your divorce. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.